Welcome back to Capitol Tonight. I'm Tim Boyum. We've got friends of the program, members of the Southern Group, former Charlotte City Council members, Tariq Bokhari and Larken Egleston. In person, I'm in Charlotte today.
COVID is over. This is it. It's officially over today. We're in studio with you in person. This is amazing.
It's weird when you feel like you're with someone so often and yet you're never actually together.
I know. We've probably only been together in a room like 3-4 times ever.
Yeah, but we text 70 times an hour.
I know. It's frightening. Good to see you guys. We had a lot of topics on the docket, but we talked to a couple current council members before. So I want to talk about what you guys talked about in your podcast. By the way, it's out now, right?
Yeah,
or will be tomorrow?
I got to get home.
Oh, you got to edit?
As soon as I post it, it's ready to post.
All right. Say the name for everybody again.
R&D in the NC, episode 7 will be live by the time you see this.
All right. So we're talking data centers.
Yeah.
What did you guys focus on with this one?
Well, I think first and foremost, you did a really great piece that we went back and watched where you were showing the disconnect, the anger, the community uprisings we're seeing when data centers go anywhere. Yet we have discussed on this program the importance because of AI, because of everything else, China versus US, how we need to have them. So where Larken and I kind of picked up on the podcast where you left off and started talking about our experience as council members who had to deal with a lot of very contentious rezonings and what we learned in that process. And basically it's our advice given that perspective to communities. And the punchline is don't just stand up and say, our goal is to get to, no, it's not going to happen. Try to negotiate community benefits. And if you start doing that and say, well, I need to know my power is not going to go up. I need to know that the water usage and depletion isn't going to be an issue. I need to know the noise is solved. And then, oh, you're going to give me 10, 15, 20 million more into our tax coffers. We need a park. We need workforce development. We negotiate those as community benefits. And you lay out your demands. And if they're reasonable, that's where all of a sudden the dialogue and a win-win can happen, because we cannot lose this war. And with the AI challenges that are coming, in workforce depletion, white-collar jobs up to 50% going away in the next couple of years, like we've discussed, this is like the factory of the first industrial revolution, now for the fourth, and that's how we try to win in a very complicated situation coming up.
You buying what he's selling over here?
Generally speaking, I think to continue on the analogy of the rezonings that we used to deal with, there were people who I think aspired to somehow stop the growth of Charlotte. That was never going to happen. I think stopping the growth of data centers, which again existed long before AI did, just maybe weren't as much in demand.
Or as big as they're going to be.
Right. It's just not going to happen. It's a matter of how do we do that and do it responsibly. And so putting up those guardrails, saying if we've got noise concerns, first of all, you need to make sure you've got the zoning right in your community so that we don't have industrial sites of any kind going near residential neighborhoods. But if you've got noise concerns, what regulations, what enforcement, what repercussions are there for people who violate those? If we have concerns about water issues, the power bills as Tariq referenced, all these things are things that we can put rules and regulations around, we can monitor and we can enforce, but the communities need to be a part of that conversation. So I think there are things that are valid concerns, they can be mitigated. There are things that can be community benefits. There's certainly a tax benefit to communities, but all this needs to be a conversation that involves the community on the front end, not just at the back end. And I think the better that the collective we can educate ourselves on these issues, the more effective advocates we can be.
And some of these communities I've heard, some of the things they're talking about aren't true. This isn't in favor of data centers, but how much is the buy-in and that education a big part of this? Because it feels like if these communities lose control over the narrative, this is going to go derail real fast.
100%. And I think we're seeing nationally with the president at the State of the Union kind of forecasting that a broader pact for power usage and things is going to happen and be underway. But in the near term, I think the problem we both see, and it happened with the rezonings over the last decade that we experienced here, there's just the misinformation of it's going to pollute everything. The noise is going to be outrageous. Our power bill is going to be out of control. There are scenarios where that can happen, but there's also scenarios where that can be mitigated and all of those things can be solved right now. And the difference is if you come up and say, I'm against it, and you expect the developer to come up and say, here's why you're wrong, it just isn't going to work. We need to change the entire approach and platform where community members start to understand, our work is now to say, prove these things to me. Here's where the goalpost is. I'm going to set it and not move it. Prove these things to me. And if all these are met and we get all these, it's a win-win-win. And right now it's just absolutely no, and we need to do it. And that can be bridged, and it's not just responsibility of developers. It's all of us united to say, here's how this process works.
Speaking of responsibility of developers, how much is this finding the right partners for communities to work with as well, right? I mean, because the gentleman I talked to, he wants to do all the things the right way, but inevitably not all of them are going to want to.
Well, that's any kind of development. It's the same thing in the real estate, the more kind of like residential and office real estate that we dealt with a lot more on the city council. There are developers who come in and try to steamroll a community, and there are developers who come in and say, look, I live in this community. I want this to be a benefit to Charlotte or to North Carolina or to whomever. And it's just, it's always finding those right partners in any kind of business, because there are going to be good actors and bad actors.
All right, we're almost out of time here, but does Charlotte buy into this, do you think?
Well, I mean, everyone is going to struggle with it, including the Charlotte City Council. And I think, you know, we have had more contentious rezonings and experienced them, but it's the entire approach. I think we have to figure that they're going to resonate with the community benefits aspect of this, when they can figure out how to harness it. And when they don't have 100% of everyone they're hearing from saying, don't do this, we elected you, don't do this, but people start to lean in and saying, well, here's our terms, they will get behind it. But if it stays the way it is, it won't work.
All right, guys, good to see you in person.
You as well.
Amazing.
Right, take care. That's going to do it for tonight. As always, if it's on Jones Street or Main Street, you'll find it right here in Capitol tonight. Stay safe, look after each other. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.